Hi everyone, this is Sharon from Angelics-Speak.com. Welcome to the channel. Today, Michael has told me that he hopes to answer several questions at once. So let's start. Greetings everyone, this is Michael. Yes, I do hope to answer several questions at the same time. We'll see if this happens. Some of you have been asking about Ascension, about the new earth, as some people call it, and how all of this integrates with the awareness of oneness, that everything is one consciousness. So allow me to try to explain. As the channel has mentioned, I and other archangels have spoken with you to a variety of different levels of awareness. Today, I'm going to try to explain that more fully, and hopefully that will answer some of your other questions. From your levels of awareness, you experience Earth as solid, with colors, sensations, your five senses. You hear things, you see things, you smell things, you taste things, and you're able to touch them, and they feel solid or liquid, or perhaps you sense the wind, which is gas or air. This is at your level of awareness. And when we speak of much higher levels of awareness, it may be confusing. I've spoken of the veils of consciousness. These are the veils that keep you from perceiving reality in a higher form. As the veils begin to be removed, you begin to experience your world very differently. Solid objects no longer appear as solid. They begin to lose color and become gray or black and white. You begin to see delicate lines of light wherever you look. And as the veils continue to be removed, all of the physicality that you have been experiencing dissolves. And you see only points of light. This is what we experience when looking at you. You are all various degrees of brilliance as points of light. And you move along a very delicate, grid-like matrix formed of light. For us, there are no colors, no forms, only light, and an incredibly beautiful liquid darkness that pulsates with love. Angels, not archangels, but your angels, still perceive you as a physical form, although not in the same way that you perceive. It is subtler, but they can see your actions. They can also see your intentions. They can also hear your thoughts. They are more dense than archangels are. As you move up further in higher and higher levels of awareness along the angel lineage, there is no longer any view of you or your planet as you see it, or as we see it. Higher angelic beings exist only to serve Source, without any interaction with anything else. Now, we have spoken about the soul and the soul's expression into a physical form, and that you are, as you experience yourself, but also you are your soul. We spoke to it about the soul's awareness of projecting an essence of itself into a physical form of its creation. Now we would like to shift higher. As the soul expands in its awareness, it will learn at some point that it never expressed its self, its essence, into anything. It too simply projected its consciousness onto a very, very subtle screen. But as it did so, it experienced itself fully, just as you experience yourself fully in the world. You see, each level mirrors the next. And as the veils continue to increase, your experience becomes denser and denser and more solid. As the soul continues to expand, it moves even past this projection of itself into physicality completely. That is no longer a portion of its experience. Instead, it moves even higher into layers and layers of more and more union with Source, until there is the final dissolving of its separate awareness and emerging. Now you say, what does this have to do with Ascension and New Earth? These are only relevant to you in your most dense forms. Now, as we have spoken of, the soul at a more limited level of awareness still is believing anyway that it's expressing itself into a physical form, to experience, to collect sensations, memories. At this time, from that level of awareness, many soul groups have made the decision to come to Earth because they are aware of the plan to amplify the light in this grid structure. So they have expressed themselves into physical forms, such as yours, to experience this. I hope that you're following me so far. What is actually occurring as Metatron has spoken of, more light is being sent to Earth, to you, to everything in your neighborhood, so to speak. What that really means, from our perspective, is that more light is being sent to this very subtle grid. That amplifies the light experience of everything on your planetary existence. It disturbs most of you. It brings up heaviness, past impressions, past memories, emotions to be purged, to be burned through and removed. Because of this, there is a lot of agitation on your planet. A lot of emotion is coming up. Not everyone that you experience in your world is at a development spiritually that they can assimilate this light. So it's causing great chaos in their hearts and their minds and amplifying negativity. This is the turbulence that many of you are experiencing in your countries. However, this is all part of your individual dreamlike reality. You are projecting this reality in order to learn something. That's the purpose of experience on Earth. From a higher level of awareness, there's no old Earth. There's no new Earth. There's no ascension. You're already there. Because of the veils of awareness, you don't realize it. And so you proceed in expanding your awareness and working very hard to know higher truths that you already know. But it's been veiled from your awareness. As the soul expands in its own awareness, and the soul is you, it realizes that it's been projecting everything. None of it ever happened. It never experienced a physical form on Earth. Earth is irrelevant at this point. Try to hang in there with me. At a dense level, with all of the veils, Earth is absolutely real. As the veils continue to be removed, it gets less and less so. And for the soul, which is you, eventually you realize you were never on Earth. You never experienced any of it. You simply projected a dream. And then you wake up from that dream. With a start, you pull your consciousness back from this very subtle veil where you exist as soul and realize none of it ever happened. But you are still filled with all of these experiences and memories as though it did. And when you realize that it never happened, you expand even farther. to a partial union experience with a myriad of other souls, experiencing union and separation over and over again, swimming in bliss, in ecstasy of that union. And then there are further shifts, higher and higher, until the final union. So to us, you see, from our own perspective, there's no old earth, there's no new earth. We do experience all of you as light, and we see this very subtle matrix that you're moving through. The matrix just got a little brighter to amplify your experience. But our own view is limited. We have our own evolutionary path as archangels, just as you have yours as souls. We have angelic souls. We evolve much slower than human souls do. But we do gradually expand in our awareness. And as we move higher beyond the state of an archangel, there's no world. There's no old earth. There's no new earth. There is only Source. I hope that this helps. It may in fact confuse you further. But we wanted to explain why there are so many different levels of messages. It depends on who we're speaking to and at what level of awareness we're speaking about. All is one. There is only the pure consciousness of Source. But because of the veils, you don't experience it. And so there are infinite plays that go on from your consciousness projected into your dreamlike reality. This is still true for us, but at a much higher level. When all the veils are completely removed from our being, we also merge into Source. Now, it is not a physical merging because there is no physicality for any of us, for you, for us, for all sentient and insentient beings as you perceive them. It is really just an expansion of your awareness back to who you truly are and have always been. Source. There is only one. But until you fully know that, you have to do the process. And each time your awareness expands, you drop some of the process and are more fully aware. And each time you move higher, some of you will think, how wonderful. This is what it's truly like. This is the story of the blind man and the elephant. Only when you fully and completely merge into Source, when you become fully aware as Source, do you really know what it's like. Everything else is various levels of dreams, because everything in creation is the dream of Source within its own being, because nothing is beyond Source. Source is expanding because of all of the experiences that it experiences within its being in these dreams. So when we say you are dreaming, you are projecting your awareness in order to interact with the projection. That allows you to experience, to learn, to sense. And that is the purpose. Everything is one. Everything is made of that supreme essence. It is only the veils of awareness that keep you from that supreme experience. You're already merged with Source because there is only Source. But until you have moved back through these veils, you will not experience it. This is why we continue to ask you to go within, to meditate. There are many paths, as I've said, to that experience of the highest truth. But all of them eventually must lead to going beyond the mind. And all of them lead to that deep inner space within your own subtle heart. That tiny, tiny pearl that is the expression of Source. And when you can hold your mind so focused and so steady that you merge with that tiny space, you become everything. Not because you're not everything now, but because all the veils are burnt. They're gone. And you are simply Source. If we say one with Source, there's still a subtle separation. You're in union, but you're still you. So we say you are Source because you have totally merged your awareness back into that experience. There is a phrase in our channel's mind. The analogy of waves on an ocean. The wave is not separate from the ocean, but it has its own movement, its own expression. And when the wave dissolves, it dissolves back into complete ocean, does it not? And even when it has a sense of waveness, it is still simply the ocean from a different perspective. But if you believe yourself to be a wave, you feel separate. This is what the veils of illusion do. They veil your consciousness from the experience of that oneness. As the ocean, there's no need to merge with the wave. The wave is simply a part of you. And when the wave dissolves, it dissolves its sense of limitations into the ocean, even though it was always the ocean. This is what's happening. This is happening throughout all of creation. Every single level of awareness, from the absolute most dense to the most supreme, is moving back to the awareness of Source. For all of it exists within the being of Source. So just as a wave then blends back into the experience of oceanness, so are you. Don't worry about all of these details, the new earth, the old earth, ascension. None of it is really relevant. All of us give you that message and all of these various messages to keep your mind busy. Your mind gets worried with what is happening, what is happening. So you're given little bits of information for it to chew on. There's classes, there's books, there's videos, infinite numbers of them to keep your mind busy. But truly speaking, they're kind of irrelevant, because what's happening has nothing to do truly with the mind. As the veil lifts, the mind moves backwards. As another veil lifts, the mind moves backwards even farther and becomes more pure consciousness. Pure consciousness is not a mental construct. It is beyond the mind. And meditation helps you over time to move beyond the mind. It can accelerate the process of dissolving those veils that keep you from knowing who you truly are. That's all. I hope that this helps. It probably has brought up more questions, and we will answer them as they arise. We all send you so much love and blessings. I am Archangel Michael.